Hello, everyone. This is Ed Breniger. Welcome to the Eddie Network podcast. And I'm glad to introduce you to my new friend. Is it Darius or Darius? Darius?
Darius.
Darius Smith.
Darius, like the great Persian king.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, uh, that we could talk about that, couldn't we? This very contemporary event. Um, we met each other on a plane 2 weeks ago and flying from Los Angeles to Detroit.
Yep.
And we just really hit it off. So welcome, Darius, and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're interested in, and which I know you
Well, Ed,
a lot of stuff there.
I got a lot going on, that's for sure. But Ed, it has been a pleasure to say that red eye from LA to Detroit was probably one of the best flights I've ever had. So I
Me too.
appreciate you and your company.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Um, But yeah, so what's going on, everybody? My name is Darius Smith. Online, I am known as Raizo Uchiha. So I'm a videographer by day. I help small businesses with their content creation, marketing, business assets, website, podcast production, and then I also do YouTube content on the side for myself, playing games, trying to keep the inner kid in me alive. So talking about games, nerd culture, all the things I used to love growing up that I want to keep inside of my daily routine now. Um, and yeah, and I've been lucky enough to find success in doing both of the things that I've loved since I was a little kid.
Well, you're still a little kid, aren't you?
I mean, I'm getting up there at 30 is just starting to push it a little bit nowadays. The young kids call me Unc, which I am an uncle, so it doesn't offend me as much.
Oh,
But now
yeah.
they're like, "Oh, you're dated." You don't, and I don't understand a lot of the terms that are coming out nowadays. So I'm definitely getting up there.
Yeah, it's tough when you get into your late 20s and you feel like you're becoming an old man, and
Right.
because all those young kids are, they're looking at you like, wow, you're
He
age.
doesn't know anything.
I don't know anything. Oh, that, yeah. Well, wait till you hit your 70s.
Oh yeah, listen, I'm looking forward to it. I always say getting old is a blessing. So, God willing, I'll make it up there and, be as impactful as to people as I am today, hopefully.
So, how did you get into doing video work? What was
Into
the
video work.
start of that?
It's been a lifelong passion of mine telling stories. I can remember going back from being a little kid, like 3 years old, with my oldest memories. And me and my brother, we always had Power Rangers, right? And so
Oh yeah.
typically kids, when you're playing with your action figures, you're reenacting what you saw on the TV. And like we used to sit down and watch the Power Rangers every day. But for me, I always said, I don't want to reenact what I saw on the TV. I casted every single one of the Power Rangers. God bless my mom. She bought us every single set of Power Rangers that came out as they came out with all the new seasons. And every we had our dedicated cast. So whenever they would bring in like a new color of Power Ranger, we'd cast a new character. And so I always had like this practice or this fascination with making my own TV show, making my own story with these characters. And that went on for years. I think I kept on playing with my Power Rangers until like I was 11 years old in fifth grade. And around the time that I was 9, I thought to myself, I want to be able to put myself into these stories. So that's where I came up with the character Raizo. And so just this fascination with storytelling, creating my own stories, putting myself in these different imaginary worlds, it led to me always saying, what if I did this? What if I did that? And growing up, my godmom, she raised me for a big part of my childhood. She unfortunately passed away when I was 17. She had MS and scleroderma, but I was 10 years old and I was talking to my brother, just ideating. I said, I wish that we could do blah. And now my godmom, she was sweet, but she was stern. And I remember she just cut me off. She goes, I wish that you would stop saying I wish and go figure out how to do it.
Ooh.
Right. And
Oh,
I'm like,
I love her.
Like that's cool, but I'm 10. But that idea is stuck in my head.
Oh my.
Don't wish for it. Go figure out how to do it. So I'm like, okay, what does that mean, right? So I start breaking it down. Okay, what am I doing? I'm telling a story. Where am I watching these stories at? On TV. Okay, so these are movies, these are TV shows. All this has to deal with video. Back in the day, I wanted to be an animator, but then I realized all I could draw was stick figures. So I'm like, all right, let me go find a camera. And it was when I was 12 years old that I got my first point and shoot camera. Can I grab it?
Oh yeah, of course.
Still, I still have this
Oh yeah.
Samsung point and shoot camera. She's dusty and broken now, but I leave this on my shelf over here just as a little reminder, as a little keepsake of
Yeah.
that's where
Used to have
my
one
passion
just
for
like
cameras
that. Yeah.
started. Yeah. And so fast forward to my sophomore year of high school, I am a musician as well as a videographer, just an all around creative, right? But I realize always been weird. I'm always thinking 10 years into the future. And so I'm like, what am I gonna do with the rest of my life? Like I'm a 14-year-old kid worried about what am I gonna do for a career? How am I gonna make money? How am I gonna live? Right. And I was like, I really want to make money making movies. And so I was in the wind ensemble, but I'm like, I'm sick of this. Like, I want to find a video class. So I'm having a conversation with the school counselor, probably the only time I've ever talked to a school counselor. I said, I want to get out of band because as much as I love music, I don't want to play for the rest of my life, which I retract that statement now because I started playing again.
Yeah.
But at the time, I said, I really want to pursue this video thing. And I just, the words of my godmom were ringing in my head, figure out how to do it, figure out how to do it. So I started looking for those resources. And funny enough, the counselor says, well, we just opened up a video class. It was the end of the first semester going into the second. She was like, I can put you in for the second semester. It will be your last class of the day. Like, are you okay with dropping? I think I had to drop like physical conditioning. I was like, yeah, get rid of that. I can go to the gym with my dad. I don't care. Um, and I remember the first day of the second semester, my teacher, Jamie Nicholson, he walked in and he just throws up his arms. He goes, what's going on, everybody? Today is your first day of video class, and today is my first day of teaching. I don't know
Oh,
anything about teaching. You don't know anything about video, but we're going to learn together.
oh my.
And Ed, when I tell you that I soaked up every nugget that I could from that class, because remember, it was my last class of the day. So I would stay late. I would almost miss the bus multiple times. And I remember one day he comes up to me because I'm sitting there. I'm still trying to edit, trying to figure out how to use Final Cut Pro. And he says to me, D, I can tell that you're really passionate about this. Come here. And he walks over with me to this gear cabinet and he hands me a MacBook and he hands me a camera bag with a camera in it. He goes, I'm gonna give you this MacBook. Do not return this to me until the day that you graduate. And I said, what? Now, mind you, I never used the Mac besides inside the class before. I had a laptop at home, but to use like the Mac system, I'm like, okay. He
Yeah.
goes, what I want you to do is every day, every weekend, make something. Like, if you're as passionate as about this as I think that you are, just keep making something. And so from there, I was able to start doing YouTube videos. From there, I was able to write skits and sort of learn the ways of taking all these stories and ideas I have in my head and bringing them to life. And fast forward another 2 years to when I graduated high school, I just took off. I went to Arizona. I left home at the age of 18 to pursue a dream of becoming a freelancer in Arizona. Did a year of college, and even though I realized college wasn't for me, and against everybody's best advice, dropped out to pursue my videography career full time, and the rest has been history.
Well, I feel like I want to be like you when I grow up.
Listen, I mean, anything is
That's
possible.
that's such a great story. It's such a great story, and your grandma's influence upon you reminds me of mine on me.
Mhm.
When I was 12, my grandmother, my mother's mother, took me aside. I'm one of 15 grandchildren,
Okay.
and from what I know, I'm the only one she talked to this way. She said, "You may do anything you want, but do not bring shame to the family names." Excuse me. She
Uh-huh.
said, "You may do anything you want, but do not bring shame to the family name."
Right.
I said, "Okay," and I've followed it ever since. But her words to me were, "I'm setting you on a course," and this is what your
Mhm.
grandmother said. "I'm setting you on a course that you're never going to deviate from, and it's going to cause your life to be full and rich and amazing."
Mhm.
And that's what I see in you.
Yeah.
I salute your grandmother, honor
I
her.
appreciate that. Yeah, I
Wish I
try
had
to.
known her.
Yeah, my godmom, she was
Oh,
amazing. I
your
mean,
godmother. Yeah,
yeah, but it's funny because it's literally I I tell people this all the time. I'm raised by such strong women,
yeah,
and it's a blessing
yeah,
because the one thing that I've been so blessed with is from my godmom to my grandmother. Everybody speaks so much life into me, and they, like your grandmother said, they see the vision that you have, they see the potential that you have, and they encourage it.
yeah.
And that's one of the things I feel like if I could bestow that on everybody in the world, I would. If I can instill that same confidence, like I tell people, I'm shy, but on the same at the same time that I'm shy, I have solar confidence. Like if I want something and I'm decided on something, I was just talking with my mom the other night, and she said, "You are stubborn." Like that is a definite character trait. And she says, "It's because you get this fixation.
Mhm.
And when you decide your path and you say you want to go for this thing,
Yeah.
you don't deviate from it." And even when people say, come to you and say, "Oh, well, you can take this route or you can take this route," I can confirm she said for 9 times out of 10, I ignore everybody else's recommendations. And it's because I've built such agency with myself throughout the years. And that's one thing I think a lot of people lack or forget how to build is that trust within themselves. A
Hmm.
lot of the times we're looking for outside perspectives to confirm, okay, yeah, that's a good idea, go for it. Okay, yeah. And as I'm getting older, counsel is becoming more important. But I know deep down, I follow my gut first. So even when I'm looking for consultation from friends, family, coworkers, business partners, if it doesn't feel right in the heart, in the gut, I'm like, maybe it is a pass, or maybe it is you take that jump and walk by faith and not by sight.
I don't know if you recall us saying this on the plane, but our conversation was very much like this on the plane.
Hmm.
And I think we both felt like we were very much like the same person. We're
Definitely.
doing very different things, but we're like the same person because what you just described is exactly the way I look at the world too. And
Hmm.
I think it's very cool. You know,
No,
two people from totally different places in the world, and here we are, very similar in the way we approach the work that we do.
yeah. Where you said to me we're unicorns. We are walking on parallels. I always tell people I use the word chameleon. My friend Doc, he said we're like chameleons because he's similar to us. Once you know and you're able to adapt,
Hmm.
it's the adaptability piece, and that no matter what situation I'm put in or that we're going into, we know that we're gonna be okay.
Yes.
And it's like you said, it's that trust and internal know that no matter what, it's all going to work out.
So where do you see your, how do I frame this? I'm going to call it storytelling. How do you see, where do you see your storytelling going?
You know, I would love, I love what I do now being able to impact and help small businesses tell their stories, right?
Right.
So there's that part of me because I always in my mind nowadays I section it off. One half is okay, I'm using this gift that I've gotten for others, being able to help them build up their business, tell their story, and feed their families through that. The other part is me. So what I do on YouTube is I really try to keep that same little kid alive. So a lot of the content I do on YouTube is like video games reviews, let's plays, and I'm a huge fan of anime, cartoons, movies, and just exploring those things. But growing up, the all the games and the movies that I was into, it wasn't super popular. Like I think anybody can relate that typically if you're a nerd, you used to get bullied, right? So one thing that I always preach and tell people is like the beauty of making content is that now the things that I could only talk to about with a small pocket of people, and really it was just me and my brother that nerded out on this stuff. The things that I used to love to, I was a true enthusiast of. I can make content and find people from America, Europe, Asia. I mean, I have people following me worldwide that love and enjoy the same things that I love. So, using the gift that I have to be a storyteller, to be an entertainer, is allowed me the opportunity to not only help others by helping them tell their story and grow their business, but also allowed me to really dive back into the things that help me make me me. You be able to relive the games, the stories, and see how do I say seek out new experiences through that because the one thing about you know my audience is they do a really good job of recommending me new games or similar games to the things that I like really love. So now I'm able to explore even more stories and see what makes people excited about this franchise versus this franchise or see the similarities between things. So I think all that to say where I hope that this continues to go is that I'm able to help more businesses. My goal in the next couple of years is to relocate down to Florida and grow out a social media team and a bigger network of videographers, social media marketers, etc. that can help me bring a full production house together to work with more small businesses and bigger businesses, but also grow my YouTube channel to be able to do that full time as well and just continue to be a little kid.
Are there certain themes that are important to you that you like to pro project through your video work that um, are the sort of things you want to be influential in society with? Are there certain topics or themes or ideas that are important to you that
Definitely.
um, so what would some of those be?
One thing that I always tell people and what I want everybody to walk away with when they watch a video of mine or they watch or they just interact with me is that you pursue the things that you're passionate about. I think so often we get caught up in the waves of life that we forget what it is to love something fully. A lot of people work jobs that they don't love just to make the ends meet, but they don't remember to pursue that dream. So one thing I always tell my community on YouTube or the clients that I choose to work with over the ones that I don't is passion. Make a goal, make a plan. What do you want to do? How do you want to get to it? And keep that center focused because the reason that I've been able to grow in the ways that I've grown and develop the skills that I've been able to develop is because I had these goals and I was obsessed with them. And not obsessed in a bad way, whereas, well, almost in a bad way because it's the only thing that you think about and you don't want to let it go.
Yeah.
You know, I don't take no for an answer in a lot of the circumstances because I know that it's possible. And against everybody's best judgment, there's been times where my mom was like, "This isn't gonna work. You're gonna fail," and I get that fire in me. I'm like, "Okay, watch me." You know what I mean? And you have to not let the outside voices sway
Hmm.
once again what you know internally is to be true, because not everybody's going to see the vision, not everybody's going to understand what you see. So it's like show and tell. You can't tell them, you have to show them. And once they see that final picture, once they see that vision, they're like, oh, this is what you meant, oh, this is what you were working on.
I have found that you you start down a trail
Hmm.
and you're and that trail is you're building something while you're going down the trail.
Yep.
The metaphor is not going to be really that great, but you're going in a direction and you reach a point where you realize that I've done all I can with this thing that I've created. It may be
Hmm.
a video, it may be a book, it may be an idea, something like that.
Hmm.
And so to me, the hard thing is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it over here on the shelf. I may come back to it later, but I'm starting over.
Right.
I'm going to create something from scratch.
Yeah.
And when I create something from scratch, it's like exposing all this stuff that's been inside that's been hidden because I've focused on other things. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what has happened with this novel that I'm writing. I told you about this
Uh-huh.
novel.
Yep.
And since I saw you, one of the things that happened is I was talking to someone, and we were talking about something. I don't know what it was. It was in a pretty uh, a live conversation, and I'm thinking I need to call Floretta and ask her about this. And then all of a sudden, I realized that Floretta is a character in my novel. She's not real. She's in my head, and yet
Yeah.
she's become this real person to me.
Right.
And that has never happened. It never happened to any of the more philosophical stuff that I've written. And so it's where it's led. I think you'll love this. Is that I'm going to serialize this book, and so people will buy the book ahead of time. The ones who buy
Yep.
the book ahead of time are going to get a second book, and I'm going to write a book of short stories of the individual characters in the book
I love that.
that are sort of stories of origin type of things.
Yeah.
Because I care about these characters beyond just what they're doing in the moment that they're in that chapter.
Exactly.
How do you see that sort of thing emerging in the stuff that you're creating? That it
Absolutely.
lives with you. It's not just an idea that is on film or on videotape or digital, but
Well, it's so it's interesting that you just talked about the impact that the characters had on you. Now, for me, it's not so much characters that I create, but it's through the games that I play.
right,
So, when we're diving into these worlds, you get to explore the minds of the directors, the cast, and all the developers. And we were talking about this game called Undertale. Now, in this game, there's multiple endings, and the endings are all based on your actions that you decide to take throughout the game.
right.
You can be violent and have a violent ending. You could be neutral and have a little mix of the two, or you could choose to be peaceful. And so for me, when the game first starts out, there was this character that challenged you. They said, "Well, you're in the underworld. You can't escape here without harming somebody." And I said, "Is that a challenge? Because that's just my nature." I said, "That sounds like a challenge. That sounds like you're telling me trying to put limits on what I can do." And so throughout this game, with every fight that I was faced with, and with the urge, because they would say something slick to you, you're like, "Oh, I could just end them." But then that flowers challenge rung in my head, and through that, I was able to meet so many characters and like really dive in to, like you said, their origin story, their backstory. But it's because I was able to take the time and learn them. And so I can definitely identify with your feeling of, oh, I got to talk to Floretta because sometimes I'm like, oh, I should go call Alphys. And then I just started playing another game made by the same developer, and I see a lot of these same characters. And I was like, whoa, this feels like a reunion. It's like I'm back with my friends again. And I love that. I love that. And it's a
Yeah,
beautiful thing because, how do I say? It's a beautiful thing because although these are fictional characters, their personalities or their traits are very human.
right.
And it's something that you can identify with and something that people can connect with. And that's what makes the story so impactful.
And those characters or those situations are derived from things that we've experienced with other people. And so,
Exactly.
Floretta or Chester, or these are characters of the book. These are people who I've imagined because of somebody I've known in the past,
Yep.
and and to create the character who resembles this person from the past is a way of saying
Right.
I'm honoring my friend from the past,
Yeah.
or my grandmother, or whoever, my sisters, or
Yeah.
somebody, as a way of saying these people have had an impact upon me. And
Right.
this is a small way for me to say thank you by putting their character into a fictional character. When I see that character, I know who it is. And
I love that.
yeah,
I
it's
love that.
a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
And I mean, that has to be one of the highest of honors too, because there's no other place where you can immortalize somebody like that.
I know that's very true. And I think creators, you're a creator, I'm a creator. We have
Yeah.
the opportunity to do that. And
Yeah.
how often do we have a chance to show honor to people? Honor is a big thing for me. How often do we have
I agree.
that right, opportunity to do that
Right.
in a way that's genuine, and people see that and they're touched by it? Because
Hmm.
and we want when we express honor, we want people to be touched by it because
Right.
it matters.
Right. No, I
Yeah.
agree. And it's funny that you say that just being a creator. I made a post on Instagram the other day and because I was reflecting the other night and I was thinking about it. So for everybody's knowledge, I've been actively making videos for the last 14 years now. So half of my life. This last half of my life, I've been a storyteller since I was 3, I would say. But for this last half of my life, I'm able to go back and look at all these videos from each stage of my
Oh,
life.
wow.
And
Yeah.
I said, how beautiful is it as a creator, as a content creator, but also like doing it for the genuine love of just creating and documenting and being able to look back and say, oh, I have I can see this where I was in 2021. I can see where I was in 2015. And I always try to encourage everyone that I'm around to start making content, start documenting something about their life, romanticize your life and document, take pictures. Like we were sharing your pictures from Wyoming. How many people can sit down and look back at this photo album and just say, I was here, I did this? And
Yeah.
that's another thing. You asked me earlier, what is something that I want to leave people with? I want people to document and romanticize their life more because everything is those stories are going to get lost in your head. As much as we think like, oh, I'll remember it tomorrow or next year, I look at my catalog now and I think to myself, oh, when I have kids, I can sit down when they're about the same age as me. They're probably going to hate the quality, but I can look back at when they're the same age as me and show them, hey, this is what I was doing when I was your age. Or, God willing, I have grandkids. Hey, this is what grandpa used to look like when he wasn't old and wrinkly, right? So
Yeah, I'm already there.
yeah. You look good, brother. You look good.
Thanks.
But it's we have such a I'm talking my generation especially, with the technology that we have, the ability of cloud storage. Like we don't have to worry about hard drives getting lost or broken. You just got to worry about paying a monthly subscription. And that, yes, it is hard on the pockets, but we have such a opportunity when it comes to keeping the most accurate account of all of our lives. And it's gonna be looked back on, like the old camcorders. I still have my dad's camcorder. And sometimes I'll turn it on and I'll pop in that tape and look back. That's what we're going to be able to look back on our lives with, but with even more footage. It's not going to be limited to the 60 minutes that camcorder had. You're going to have infinite amount of footage that you can look back on and reflect on and, you know, share with people.
Yeah, we didn't have that kind of access to technology when I was your age, and
Right.
it's though I did have I did when I was in high school. I had a job, and and I took the money from my job and I bought an SLR camera.
Yeah.
And I took a lot of pictures, and I still have
Yeah.
took it all on slides, and I still there's a box over there full of the slides, and I've gone through them every now and then, probably every 5 years or so. I've gone through some of it, and it's really interesting. It's really interesting to go through it. There was when I was graduated from high school, I went on a trip. Grew up in North Carolina, and we did there was a big high school trip, and we went to California and back. It was a three
Mhm.
week trip out and back,
That's
and
that's awesome.
about 150 of us. It was a big trip,
Okay.
and I took all these pictures while I was out there and stuff, and looking through that and seeing those people, and I'm thinking, I don't know any of these people anymore. I have no
Right.
connection to any of these people, and I wish I did. How did
Right.
because what kind of stories would they have told about their lives over the last,
Right.
what we're talking, 55 years?
Right.
Yeah, 1971, summer
Yeah.
71. So I think you said something earlier I thought that was really important, which was that it's hard to keep all these memories in our heads.
Hmm.
And so we need a way of putting it into some form where we can access it. And I think that's right. And I think that's where our stories come from.
Yeah.
We tell our stories about family and the generations of our families and and I wonder, I mean, as an old guy who's very connected to his past,
Right.
how many people are still doing that where
Right.
they're helping their children to understand, well, did you know that your grandfather did this, or did you know that you had a great grandfather who did this, and they said, no, I didn't know that. Well, we're not talking about those sort of things, but we really
Hmm.
should be.
Right. I totally agree. Today today will mark 5 years since my father passed away. He passed away today in 2021. And so growing up, me and my dad weren't super close. And it's funny, but it's sad because it's always when someone passes away that you hear the most interesting stories about them, or you
Yeah.
see all of the fun pictures of them when they were younger. And what this experience in these last 5 years, because I was just thinking about it, I was reflecting on it today. I was like, you know what I should have done? And one thing I started doing now since then
Mm-hmm.
was asking more questions and
Mm-hmm.
asking more questions and recording it. So me, I visit my abuelos often, and so they're around your age. They're in their 70s, and one thing I'll ask them is they're originally from Puerto Rico. So
They got
the other
story.
day before I went to California, I showed them a short film that this Puerto Rican director made. Is called Melao. And in this story, it was about this guy who was working in the sugarcane fields all around the time, and it's based in the time frame that would have been my abuelo's childhood. So I recorded a little day in the life video. That's what we call them. A day in the life vlog is what we call them. And just asking, I showed them the movie. I was like, "What did you think about this?" Or were the houses like this? Because I'm not going to be able to remember everything. But not only am I able to honor them and understand our history, our background, but I can share that with the next generation and be like, "Hey, did you know in the 50s that they didn't even have electricity until my what it was 5 years old? Did you
Yeah.
know that?" And start those conversations again because one thing I learned from my father passing away is that it's too late to ask once they're gone. So all the questions that you have, seek them out now. And it's the conversations, some of them might be uncomfortable, but that's okay because it's better to have asked the question than to live the rest of your life wondering.
What you just described is a theme in my novel, which is how families keep things from one another because they think they're protecting them from pain or suffering.
Hmm.
When what
Hmm.
they're really are doing is putting up walls between us. And
Right.
in this novel, there's I won't go into the novel, but there's that situation where a situation has occurred with the boy, the young man who's the lead of the book. His parents die, and the situation is never resolved. It's never clear why they died or actually how they
Hmm.
died, all that sort of stuff. And no one in the family talks about it. No one. And no one has
Hmm.
even ventured off to go figure out what has happened. And so he goes off
Hmm.
to venture off to see what's happened. And he decides he's going to be honest with his family
Hmm.
because it's important to him that they know what happened. And only if the idea is that if we are going to say something that's going to be hurtful, we're going to be there to share that suffering with one another.
Right.
Uh, Otherwise, we're going to suffer alone.
Yep.
And so it's interesting. My grandmother, the one who gave me the admonition, her father died when she was only 4, and so she lived in a family of women. So it's her
Hmm.
mother and her grandmother and her sister, and they spent some time living in Europe before the First World War. So we're going way
Okay.
back over 120
Yep.
years, and and I have ended up with the letters that they wrote to each other during those during about a 20-year period of time. And it's so interesting to read through those things because they're not like they're not romantic letters. There's a well,
Right.
we did this. We went to this person's house today, and we had dinner with them, and so came, and it was like phone, like what happens on a
Like a
phone
phone
call.
call, a quick phone call.
Yeah, it's and you're and seeing that kind of dimension to family life 120 years ago, as opposed to, okay, yeah, I'm going to call my kids today, and we're going to have a conversation. It's not, it doesn't change that much.
You're right. You
So
know, that is interesting because there's still the same surface level conversations. You just have to go through a little bit of the extra work of writing and sending it off.
that's right. It's really true. So when you look forward in, you're a young guy, so
Yep.
let's say you have another 65 years to live.
God willing. Okay.
Okay. That puts
Okay.
you in the 90th, uh, ninth
I'll
decade of
be in
your
my
life.
90s. Yeah.
Maybe you reach 100. I don't know. But where would you like to see the world that far out? Over the course of your lifetime, what would you like to see changed so that, because I'm taking on your godmother's mindset here. So if you can see what
Hmm.
the change could be, you can go do that. You can not just talk
Hmm.
about it, you can go do that.
What impact do I want to leave? Is that the question?
Well, you define it the way you want to. I'm just thinking, what do you see as where we need to be, say, as a society or as a global community or something like that? And you have a place to play in that. But what do you see? when you look out
I s-
to the future?
I see a lot more community. I
Hmm.
think right now we're living in a world of a lot of divisiveness. But for example, me and you, two complete strangers on a 11 p.m. flight from LA to Detroit, and we have so much in common that we would have never known it had I not say, "Hey, can I sit in this middle seat next to you?" I see a lot more community. I see a lot more unity
Hmm.
because what we're going to continue to see and what this age of the internet and everybody documenting everything is showing is that we're not that different. And now if not more than ever with AI happening, the need and desire for authenticity is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
So what people are looking for now is more connection, more relationships, more unity. I think after living through something like COVID, where we were forced to be, it wasn't our choice, but we were forced to be distanced from one another.
Yeah.
People really truly value connection, and they really truly value community. And
Well, they
it's
lost something, and they found out what they lost was something they actually did value. They probably
yeah,
didn't know that before.
exactly. E- and it's exactly that. And I don't think that we're gonna have to continue to lose things before we value them. I think
I
we're on a trajectory where we're gonna start valuing things on up front and lead with gratitude and lead with love because we see what hate and divisiveness gets us,
Right.
and it's not getting us very far. But if we understand that we lead with our authentic hearts, we follow our passions and lead with love first. If I'm in my 90s and I'm looking around at the world ahead of me, I want to still be able to say hi to whoever's walking by on the street. That's always been a big issue for my friends. Whenever we're out and about, they say you say hi to everybody. You talk to everybody.
Yeah.
But I explain to people I have so much love to give, and I just have such a love for people that I know that everybody has a story. I'm not gonna get everybody's story in a 2 second conversation on the corner, but I want to be that light, that impact to make somebody's day. Maybe me saying hi, how are you, or helping somebody with their groceries, or even holding the door open for them. I'm big on that. I always want to hold the door open for people. If I see you on the other side of the park, I'm gonna cheer you on. Come on, get in here. Hope you have a good workout.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I think
No,
that's when I'm in my 90s. More positivity, more unity, more love.
I think we'll be there too.
Yeah.
And I won't be around. I'll be gone, but you'll be taking on the
I'll be
mantle
telling the
of being
story of
the
Ed.
elder. You'll be the elder then.
I'll be telling the story of Ed.
So, how do people find you and be able to kind of engage with the work that you're doing?
Yeah, so you guys can find me at any and all social media applications at Raizo Uchiha. Raizouchiha. I know it's a very complicated
You're
name to
gonna
spell.
you're gonna send me all this stuff to put in
I got
the
yeah, I'll definitely send it to you, brother. But yeah, I'm uploading on YouTube multiple times a week, live streaming on the weekends just to once again get that connection, be able to actually talk with people in real time. And yeah, I just hope to see more and more people, more connection, and hear more people's stories and help them tell it.
Well, we'll have to do this again.
Please, I'll be more than Ed. You don't gotta twist my arm, brother.
I
You
know that.
call me, you
I know
call
that.
me. I'll be more than happy to chop it up with you.
I mean, we could do our own podcast, the
I
two of
think
us.
so.
Yeah, we could.
Bridging the
Hold
gap.
that thought. Hold that thought. I mean,
Exactly. We're gonna have to sit down and write this. I got it.
there. I'm just. Um, I've been through a lot in my life, and what I find here is I approach my 73rd birthday in a couple of months, that the world has kind of split in two, and and you we have a choice to make, and we can go where all the anger and the hatred and all the conflict is, or we can go build community, and we can hang out with people and have good, honorable and happy and loving conversations with people. And there is a choice there, and the choice is free. I mean, you talked about agency. That's the agency we have today. Well, you have a choice to make your life what you want it to be.
Amen. You know, can I add one more thing, Ed?
Yeah, of course.
So I've also been through a lot. For a young guy, I think I've been through a lot of things. And at every one of those crossroads, I ask myself, is this happening to me? Am I a victim here? Or is this happening for me? Is this something that I'm a very faith-driven religious guy. And I think that everything that God throws at me, you know, they always say God only tests the strongest warriors. Everything that happens in your life, it's not happening to you, but it's happening for you. And we have to go through, like you said, those dark valleys to see the light, to see the opportunity. Because just like the game showed me, to fight and to hurt is easy, but to take yourself out of a dark place and look for the good, look for the connection, look for the growth in a situation, it's harder. It's not easy by any means. It is, but it's a choice.
Right,
And
right.
it's a choice that you have to consciously make and keep on making every single day.
I don't, I've you just raised a question in my mind, and I just realized that I've never thought of myself as a victim.
Mm-hmm. Because you're not.
But all the so much of the messaging is that you're a victim and therefore you
Right.
and that's a new thought. I've never thought about that. And so if I'm not a victim, then what am I?
You
I've
are
got
the
something to think
driver of
about
your
now.
own car. Yeah.
Well, it's I'm an agent.
Yeah. You're literally a pilot. You know, when we were going over the Rockies and you told me when it was turbulence, that means that we're going over the Rockies.
Yeah.
That was an obstacle in front of the pilot's path. But they didn't stop. They didn't say, "Oh, there's turbulence. We're all going down."
No, it probably rose up a
Just
little bit,
slide through.
got over it.
You got to rise up and keep going.
Darius, I'm so appreciative of you, and I'm grateful to you and your impact upon me. And I thank you, and I wish you well in all your endeavors. And we'll definitely talk about what is possible down the road because I have some thoughts. And after we finish, I'm going to share those with you. But
Sounds good, brother.
I thank you for being here.
Ed, I appreciate this opportunity. I thank you so much for it. And once again, just very thankful to have had you as my traveling companion from LA to Detroit on a red eye.
We'll have to do it
After
again.
that, Ed, I have to tell you, I'm never taking another red eye. My neck is still sore.
Oh yeah, mine is too. My neck is cracking right now. Yeah,
But no, brother, thank you so much for having me with you and having this conversation with me today.
my pleasure. And thank you all for watching. And I want you to think about the things we've talked about today. Are you an agent or a victim? Are you just kind of wallowing in self-doubt or whatever it may be? Let's do what his godmother said. Don't wish for things, go do it. Go do
Amen.
something. Just do something. Take initiative, make a difference. And I think that you will find that you're going to be meeting people who want to know you and be a part of your life and want you to be a part of theirs. And I think that's a lot of what we're talking about here.
Absolutely.
So we'll see you next time here on the Eddie Network podcast. Bye bye.